So thankfully DICE have listened to the community and decided that SMGs need changing. According to Florian, a gameplay designer at DICE, SMGs will be getting a buff in the upcoming update. This update will aim to improve the mid-range combatability of the weapons, with reduction in recoil and increases to accuracy. You can see his tweet in the background now. Usually what the DICE devs do is tweet about the upcoming changes in the update, and then of course the update and the patch notes will come out around a week later, so expect to see some more detailed videos from myself and other YouTubers coming out in around a week, detailing some of the more specific items in the patch. You can expect the damage to be better on the SMGs across the board, not only because you'll be able to keep your reticle on target and you'll be able to keep on the target in question for longer, but you'll also be getting an increased effectiveness of the SMGs across the board, almost like a blanket buff for all of the medic class. In addition to this, DICE are fixing an issue whereby some weapons were inaccurate for too long when going from sprinting to firing when aiming down sights. This is one on a long list of bugs that DICE intend to fix with this upcoming patch. Of course, in this video I am just going to focus on the SMGs because for me that is one of the biggest changes that they're bringing to this game. I think that the class balance in the game was really important to get right, and clearly with the testing in the alpha and the beta, DICE were confused with what they had to do, and the medic class was lagging far behind the other classes in the game, which is a bit of a pain. In their current state, the SMGs are not terrible, but only good in the correct scenario. You can still dominate with them, but in all honesty, in the particular case of the weapon, I think you would be better off choosing one from the assault class. The medic definitely has its benefits as a class, with the healing, reviving, and of course the smoke grenades you get access to, but in terms of a primary weapon, the medic clearly loses out unless you're talking about those really close range engagements. If you're looking for something for close range spray downs with the current build, the Suomi in CQB is pretty decent, but in Battlefield 5 you do have to consider the position you're in before taking a weapon to be the best. In my recent video listing all of the weapons from best to worst, I looked at purely the stats, and that is why some weapons were considered the best whilst people in the comments clearly didn't agree with me. That's fair enough because I didn't really take into account some other things that you have to consider in the game, such as magazine size, whether the weapon's easy to use, and whether maybe you're fighting one player or you've got maybe 3 opponents in front of you instead. The medic class is very good at taking down a couple of players at close range. The Suomi and the Tommy gun are definitely the best, and also you have to use the specializations in the right way. For those longer ranges, the MP40 can be okay, but the MP34 still has my vote with the correct specializations. I feel as if the MP34 is a great all-rounder and possibly the best in class if you just want a gun that can do it all. Even with some solid choices in the medic class, other weapons from other classes are often more effective even in that closer engagement range, such as the M1907SF. That thing will outdo pretty much all medic weapons at most things. This update will bring those SMGs up to a level that will hopefully make them a great choice for more situations than just severe CQB and make them more competitive across the board. An even more pressing issue was the fact the medic class was being underutilized or just not used at all by most players because of the imbalance between the assault class and the medic class. When you installed Battlefield 5 and jumped into a game, historically you would try out the medic class first. The engineer would be the second one along the list and you'd try that one out second, then the support class, then the scout class. Yes, of course some players would jump to their favourites immediately, but if you didn't touch anything you'd start out as a medic. In Battlefield 5 you don't, you start out as essentially an engineer from previous Battlefield games, but it's known as the assault class. You'd run around with no ability to heal players and no ability to revive anyone who's not in your squad. This led to fewer medics on the battlefield, and as there was no reason to switch to the medic class because it wasn't better at anything, we had a severe lack of medics in games of Battlefield. This was more frustrating than previous Battlefield games, as not only could you not get healed by teammates, but you wouldn't be getting revived as much either, waiting longer to redeploy after getting killed. In order for Battlefield 5 to reach its potential as a game that encourages team play, it was essential to make sure the classes were well balanced from the outset, or at the very least the medic class was desirable to play, but that wasn't and still isn't the case for the most part. But hopefully this change will fix it. In a lot of cases, as I mentioned before, you have to over-specialise your medic SMG to be good at one thing, sacrificing other specialisations, so you're never really good at more than one thing, and usually you're just good at the CQB stuff. I'd ideally want to see a mid-range medic weapon also make its way to the game, not only just a new weapon, but one that can really compete with the assault class in terms of damaging enemies at that mid to long range as well. Let's see what they do, as we do have a new wave of weapons coming with the upcoming patches. So that's it, just a quick update looking at one of the most important things that DICE are going to be changing in the game in my opinion when it comes to gameplay. It's not a bug fix as such, but it definitely is a balance change and one that was very much needed. Thanks for watching, leave your opinions down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.